Okay, hello ladies, how are you? If you pre-registered for this, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but hopefully you get the recording and we can go from there. So what our training tonight is all about productivity. So I'm gonna try not to contradict myself, but I'm gonna go into a few things. So number one, we're gonna talk about what is holding you back from being productive. We're gonna give you 6 specific tips that you can use to be more productive. And then I'm also going to tie in really intuition and how you can now factor in intuition while being productive. Because the beauty of this training is also why I created my course. So to give you a little bit of background, there's mindset and there's business strategy. How do we morph the two together? Because it's one thing to be like in the flow and easy breezy, and then it's another to be implementing your business strategy. And one is very masculine and the other is very feminine. So how do you come into both so you can run a successful business, or you can be successful in business while still feeling good? So I hope that resonates with you, because I'm going to touch on both because I think both are equally important. So what I want you to do is I'm going to give you some prompts and journal prompts as well, because in my experience, there's 2 types of people, and it's really important to know which type you are. So the first type of person is really go, 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 action oriented. They're very good at taking action. The second person is they're super great at being in the flow. They're easy breezy. They just are all about feeling good. And that person sometimes finds it hard to be productive. So there's the one that's like overproductive, spinning her wheels. And then there's the other that doesn't really get much done because she gets really caught up in her head. Oftentimes she may get caught in analysis paralysis and just researching and never actually doing anything. So maybe you can put in the chat box, if you're here live, which one you are. Because the thing is, both are the exact same issue. You're still being run by fear. So I need you to ask yourself, what fear is running me? In the action mode, oftentimes you're fearful of like, what do I have to do to be successful? I'm not going to be successful. I have to go, go, go. I have to push, push, push. It's hard to make money. I got to keep going. The second is, I need to be in the flow. I'm not really sure what to do, so I'm not going to do anything. Oh man, I have so much to do. Where do I even start? Oh, maybe I'll just go walk the dog and not even get started. So that's often a fear of the same thing. I don't know enough. I don't know how to show up. So they're still both fears. They're just showing themselves and exhibiting themselves in a different way. So tell me in the chat box which one you are. And I'm going to give you some tools to dive a little bit deeper into that so we can start to change, but recognizing it's a fear regardless. So how do we balance and marry the two so you're still productive from a place of flow? Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions before we go into the first step, the 6 steps. The first question is, what does productivity mean to you? Really? Like, is productivity getting a lot done in less time? Is it being on the go? Is it feeling good? So I really want you to be clear on what is productivity. Reason being is because making sure that you're not caught in the hustle and the grind. I don't want productivity to be linked to how much you're doing. So there's a difference between how much you're doing and productivity. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, there you go. There's my sneeze. So paying attention to what does productivity actually mean? For me, it means getting more done in less time. So we're going to go with that one. The next question I want you to ask is, why do I want to be more productive? Are there certain goals that I want to achieve? Do I not feel like I'm doing enough? So in these questions, I want you to start to link your action and your mindset. What's coming up for you? And feel free to comment in the chat box if you have some things that are coming up for you. The third thing I want you to ask yourself is, why do I have these goals? Again, you might start to see some patterns coming up of, I have to do this. I have to show my full potential. And all of these questions are going to give you some clues behind the mindset and what's going on in your mind. Business and productivity is about marrying the mind and activity, which I'm going to say over and over again. So ask yourself those questions, and we're going to go into a quick audit. So in order for us to actually give you these productivity tips, we need to know where you're at right now. So what I want you to do, your homework for the next week, is I need you to actually keep track of what you do every day. When do you wake up? What are you doing hour to hour? And be really realistic. The more data you can collect, the more you can see where your leaks are. Are you spending too much time on the phone? Are you spending too much time cooking lunch? Are you spending too much time sending emails or responding? This is going to help you to either delegate and or be more efficient with your time, but you need the data. So often I'll have clients say, holy crap, I didn't realize how much time I was spending doing X, Y, Z. Or at 3 o'clock, I didn't get much done after that. Or 11 to 1 was my most productive time. So I need you to gather data over the next week to know when is your most productive time and what are you doing most of the time. Because often, number 2, I see a lot of people being busy. And the 6 steps to productivity are going to help you to curb that so you're not just being busy. So that's your audit. Then I want us to go into vision. In an ideal world, let's take a deep breath. I can't see any faces, so I hope you ladies are doing this with me. I need you to vision, what does it look like for you to be productive? What does that feel like? What does that look like? Are things just effortless? Do you just fly through things, do exactly the right things in the right order? How do you feel when you're productive? Does it mean you're working 9 to 9, or does it mean you're working 9 to 12 or 12 to 4, or really just when you feel inspired, depending on your job and the flexibility that you have? So I want you to get really clear on your vision and write that out. So you'll see here that I'm giving you quite a few journal prompts, because at the end of the day, you're not productive because of the tools and tips. You're not productive because of what's going on up here and certain habits and patterns that you keep repeating. So we need to find the habits that are no longer working for you, and we need to break them. So in order to break them, we need to do these steps. So just to recap, because I'm now going into the 6 steps, we need to talk about what is productivity, why do you want to be productive, what are your specific goals, and why do you have those goals? Then I need you to go into the audit, where you are here and now, so that we can deconstruct that and see where your leaks are. Then you're going to do a mini vision of what productivity actually looks like for you and what your goal is, right? It's one thing to say, I want to be more productive. Well, we need to know what your ideal productivity life looks like, because one person, their ideal productivity might be, I want to wake up at 6 and be done work by 12. Another wants to wake up at 9 or 10, and everything is okay. Because at the end of the day, what I teach all of my clients and what I always talk about on training, I don't care what you do as long as it's right for you. I need you to tune into what's right for you so you actually stick to it. I don't want to sit here and just say, follow this and you'll be successful, because that's not true. The strategy is simple. It's your mind that will need to continue to evolve in order for you to get to a place that you've never been. You can't get to a place you've never been staying the same. So these questions are trying to prompt you to assist in your transformation. Okay, cool. Give me a thumbs up, or you can give me a wave if you're on board before we go into our 6 steps. So I'm going to give you your 6 steps now. We're good. Everyone's on board. I'm getting some thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Okay, we're going into our 6 steps for productivity. So when I go into this, you'll start to see, I don't believe in hustle. I believe in you feeling good and you being successful because you feel good, you raise your vibration, and everything that you want attracts to you. But it doesn't mean that you can't be productive. To me, productivity means choosing the right things in the right order. So what I want you to do is write a to-do list. Now, this is going to be a different to-do list than you've ever written before. I actually want you to grab 2 sheets of paper side by side, okay? So you're going to have 2 sheets of paper side by side. On one side, I want you to write your name on the top. And on the other side, I want you to write universe on the top. Here's the reason for the 2 lists. Too often, you put way too many things on your to-do list. You'll have 50 things, and it's super overwhelming, and you're not going to get it all done. I want to set you up for success. So here's what we're going to do. You can do this for your month, your week, and your day. Okay, so let's go to the day because it'll be more specific, and then you can just implement the same strategy if you do this for your week or your month. So for the next day, so you're going to prep this the night before. So for example, today we're going to prep for tomorrow. So you're going to write down, what do you actually have to do tomorrow? Like you have to do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Realistically, you're only going to have maybe 1 to 3 items on that list. It's going to be send a follow-up email, call this person, edit this paper. I don't know, whatever industry you work in, be really realistic. What do you have to do tomorrow? It's super urgent and important. Okay? Everything else is going on your universe list. Here's why. Once you take it off your to-do list, it completely shifts your energy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. And I want that to really sink in. So I want you to take a deep breath. And I actually want you to do a mini visualization here. How does it feel when you don't have to do anything? You're on vacation. I don't have to do anything today. You wake up. I don't have to do anything today. You can implement that feeling whenever you want. I actually did it before I came on this webinar tonight. And I thought, oh, I don't have to do anything. It completely shifts your energy. So your must-haves on your to-do list, everything goes under the universe list. The additional reason that we have the universe list, you put it out there, understanding that you do not have to do all the work. There are additional energies and additional people, the universe, God, whatever you believe, that is also working for you without working. If you had to do everything, it wouldn't be possible. So I need you to start to understand and trust that even if you're not working, the universe is working for you to accomplish your goals for the highest good of the world. Kind of beautiful, right? So once it's on the universe list, it's putting it out there. It's taking it off your shoulders. You don't have to do everything. That's a limiting belief from lack. Oh my God, I have so much to do. Oh my gosh, right? No more. You only have a couple things to do, and or you don't have to do anything. The third reason we have a universe list is after you finished your 3 must-do tasks, you get to choose what feels good. What do I want to do today? What would be super fun? And then you get to choose anything on that universe list that you want to do. Okay? So you can tell in my tips, I focus on energy as well as practicality and setting yourself up for success. Let me know if you have any questions about that. I'm going to move on to the next step. So what I want you to do when you look at that to-do list and the universe list, this is going to set yourself up for the next step. And you may end up taking some things off your universe list and or selectively choosing from your universe list because of this step. And that is, I need you to know the theme. So when you look at your universe list, I want you to pick out some themes. What are your 3 main focuses right now? And a lot of people will call these your 3 big rocks. And this is because if you've seen it, you can look it up on YouTube. I've talked about it before. There's this vase, and everyone has to try to get rocks, pebbles, sand, and water into this vase. Everybody fails because the only way you can actually fit everything in is by putting the big rocks first so that everything else can trickle in between. If you put the sand first or the pebbles first, you're not going to be able to fit the big rocks and the water. Okay? So we need to fit your 3 big rocks. So I need you to really look at your to-do list and think, okay, what are my priorities right now, really? Like really. So maybe they're sales, nurturing your current clients, and social media. Okay, so I need you to know your big rocks. Or maybe it's family, mindset, and new clients. I need you to know what's right for you, but I need you to pick 3 big rocks. You cannot do it all, and you're not going to do it all. I'm going to give you a tip of how to pick your 3 big rocks. So, and you can even go through the list and label them with these identities. So I might write it out for you. Okay, yes. So we have a T like this, okay? You see the T? Okay, so we have in the bottom left-hand corner, and I might get these quadrants wrong, but it doesn't even matter, okay? Let me write it out. Bear with me, I'm done in 2 seconds. Okay, here's my writing. Okay, so we have in the bottom left-hand corner, we have INU, important, not urgent. Above, we have important and urgent. Here we have not important and urgent. Not really sure what that means. And not important, not urgent. That means this, gone. The only things you're going to be focusing on are important and urgent, and important but not urgent. So your 3 big rocks are important and urgent. If it's important, not urgent, maybe you move it to next month. If it's not important, not urgent, maybe it goes 3 months, 4 months, and or you reevaluate next month. If it's not important, not urgent, I don't really question why is it on that list. Is it a nice to have, or should we reevaluate in 6 months? So this is going to help you to pull out your priorities and really be realistic on what are your goals and focuses right. Your focuses, is that a word? Where your focus is right now. Okay? Okay, so is everyone on board? We're good? Put some questions in the chat if you have any other questions. So we're going to go now into step 3. Step 3 is time blocks. So what I want you to do is print out a calendar. And what this calendar is going to look like is on the left-hand side, you're going to have all of the times in your day, similar to when you tracked your data. Then during your day, you're going to have the different days of the week. So we're going to go Monday to Sunday and all of the times. I now need you to put in what are your priorities. Okay? So we're going to start putting in from the beginning. When do I normally wake up? What do I do when I wake up? How long does my routine last? What do I do first? Put in the important things first. So what I normally put in first are my morning and evening routines. Maybe you have a date, family time, working out, food, any appointments. So you're noticing that I'm putting my life in first, and then we're going to fit your work in everywhere else. Here is also a really cool exercise, because you'll start to see, holy crap, is my life actually taking over my work? Do I have too much of a social life? Am I not taking care of myself? Do I not have a morning and evening routine? What does that look like? Okay, so we're going to put in life first into your week. Do I have a me date somewhere? That's my favorite. When am I spending time for myself? So what you need to have in there, I think the most important things are your morning and evening routines and your self-care. What does that look like? And then you can put anything else in. If you have kids, if you are married or you're with someone, a date night or time with your partner. Okay. So we're creating time blocks in your calendar. Now that you have your life in, I want you to just look at it and think, okay, is there a good balance here? Do I have enough time for work? And or do I not have a life? And you know what? I'm going to tell you that's okay too. It really depends what your priorities are right now. I don't care if you don't have a life and you don't want to have a life. I do care about you not taking care of yourself because you can't show up if you don't take care of yourself. So assess what's going on in your life right now. There's a time and season for everything. Honor where you're at, but know your priorities, and that's okay. Then we're going to start to put in your work time. So here's where the data from our audit, our self-audit, is going to come into place. Because within that, we want to start looking at, were there specific times that I was most productive? Are there times when I wasn't productive at all? I need you to honor your natural rhythms. When am I on the go? When am I ready to go? And or when do I need a break? Because you might want to put those things in. Now, I want you to create time blocks within each day. Here's when I'm working on this big rock. Here's when I'm working on another big block. So you're going to do time blocks of half an hour, 2 hours, whatever you need every single day. Okay? Let me know if you have questions about how to time block, because I'm going to keep adding on to this. Once you've time blocked, I need you to kind of look at it and think, the first week is going to be a little experimental because you might be a person that's either overestimating or underestimating your time block. So you might put a half-hour time block for something that actually is taking you an hour and a half. That's okay. Then you can audit and edit accordingly every week when you do your time blocks. All right. So we're moving on to step 4. Is within your time blocks and within your week, I need you to batch like activities together. This is going to be a trial and error as well. I need you to start paying attention. You are like a well-oiled machine, a high-running factory. In a factory, let's say, I want to get something really simple. So let's say they're making this water bottle. They don't make this and then paint it and then put the cap on and then send it forward. So they don't make each water bottle before putting it into the conveyor belt. They make all of the bottle first. They make all the caps first. Then they put them all on. Do you see how you're keeping like activities together? This is even in emails. I'm going to give you an example. If I'm sending batch emails to people that have a similar copy, if I'm running a summit or people have, for example, even yesterday, I sent out a workshop. And so I asked people, who wants this workshop? Give me your email if you want me to send you the workshop. A lot of people will get an email, put it in their email, then send the workshop. Get another email, put it in their email, send the workshop. That is not ultimate productivity. So this is a huge asterisk because most people do this. The most productive way, get a bunch of emails all set. Pull up your emails, put all the emails in first, in separate emails, if you can't BCC everybody. Then you're going to put all of the content in each email. Do you see how all like activities together to the very minuscule? Then I'm going to do the titles all at the same time because you can just copy and paste those, right? And then if you need to customize the email in any way, customize, send, customize, send, customize, send. So I'm doing everything at the same time, all like activities together. You can also scale out and do this on a little bit of a bigger scale. Meaning, if you want to have specific weeks or specific days for like activities, that might also boost your productivity. So for example, I like to have all my coaching on one days. I like to do all my editing on one days, all my social media content on a day, because your mind wants to focus on the same task. If you're taking a phone call and then having to do work and then doing an interview and then having to do work, your mind is all over the place and using very different parts of your brain. You want to be focusing on the exact same thing at once without gaps in between. Even I find if I have coaching and breaks in between my coaching, I'm not as productive as if I do coaching back to back and then I have a break. Again, your mind wants to keep like activities together so that you're more productive. I even take the last week off of every month. And when I say off, I don't mean actually off. I just don't take any calls. The reason being is because it's very different when you're working in your business versus on your business. If you provide any service, or it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or you work for an organization, everybody knows meetings, phone calls, it gets really time consuming. So if you can have a week where you don't take calls because you're actually working on the business, on your role, on your job, it will save you so much time and you'll get twice as much done in half the amount of time. The beautiful thing right now when we're filming this, it's during COVID. Most people are working from home. Working from home is amazing if you're productive. You can get half as much done in twice the amount of time because you're not going to the water cooler, you're not going to the washroom, you're not talking to Sally as you walk past her desk. You can just focus on each task at once without distraction. That also means that if you're focusing on each task, like tasks together, no distractions. Phone, airplane mode, anything that's distracting, off. Okay, even your emails. A lot of people will check social media and emails continuously throughout their time blocks. Nope. Email and social media get a specific time block. You do not check them until your next email and social media time block. Even if you need to turn off your email in between, if your job allows you to do so. Okay? All right, I got some yeses in the chat box. I hope this is resonating with you, and it's just being very respectful of your time and also teaching people how you respond. It's okay if this is allowed. I do understand that some businesses, this isn't necessarily okay, but maybe you can also talk to your boss. Hey, do you mind if I take a few hours to get back to you because I'm working on this assignment? If they know you're not getting back to them because you're working on something, usually that's okay. But again, there is a little bit of wiggle room here depending on your industry and your relationship with your boss and your role. So we are moving on to step 5. Step 5 and 6 are slightly linked. So step 5 is mindset. Within each time block, I need you to be very aware. What's coming up for me? Am I getting stuff done in my time block? Am I procrastinating? If I'm procrastinating, what am I doing instead? What activities, if let's say I finished all my must-do tasks, when I go back to my universe list and my task list of my important and urgent activities in my big rocks, which ones am I going towards? This is really important because I need you to look at what activities are you doing and are you not choosing the other activities out of fear? This is where you might also see some trends if you're busy being busy. If you are an entrepreneur and or your role is not sales, 80% of your time need to be on sales. Are you bypassing sales and moving towards productivity and shiny object syndrome where you're always looking to create something new? Or have you nailed what you are on right now and then you're moving on? So for example, when I coach people to build an offer to sell, a lot of people want to build 5 offers at a time and then sell all of them. You want to sell the one offer. You want to get validation. You want to get sales. You want to boost your sales and your confidence and your ability to sell. Once you know it works, you move on to the next. It's a cycle, right? So get this, check before moving on. If you have too many things that you're trying to do and sell, you're going to fail, and you have this shiny object syndrome of, that's cool, let me do that. That's cool, let me do that. It also prevents you from becoming a master at sales, because before you even have the chance to get good, you're on to the next thing. Squirrel. Same thing. Before you get good at marketing, before you get good at branding, before you get good at business strategy, you're always looking at the next thing. It's the same with mindset. You need to go deeper, dive deeper, ask yourself the tough questions. Why am I not doing this? Why am I choosing these activities? What is coming up for me? I was talking to a client last week who was having a lot of trouble on a specific time block. She realized, every time I go to this time block to work on my business, because she has a couple different businesses, she wouldn't do it. And I said to her, and I'm going to give you some tips if you realize that things are coming up for you. I need you to honor where you're at and then solve that problem, because it's not a productivity issue, it's a mind issue. Okay. And I'm going to come back to this because I'm going to give you 4 tips. If you notice that your fears or limiting beliefs are coming up in a particular time block and or all of your time blocks. Because like we said, this is now merging business strategy and your mind. You're not a robot. You're not on autopilot. And I don't want you to be. I want you to be following inspired action as opposed to forced action. And that now brings us into step 6. Is forced action and inspired action. So I need you to pay attention. Am I forcing action or am I inspired to act? Now, this can kind of get a little bit difficult because your fear can come up. And this is where a lot of people may also confuse their fear and their intuition. Oh, this just doesn't feel right. Does it not feel right because it's uncomfortable? Because a lot of times, even when you're following your intuition, you're trying something new. And then your fear might come in and it might be a little uncomfortable. Your fear may also disguise itself as intuition, saying, oh, this doesn't feel right. We shouldn't do this. And then you stay in your comfortable little bubble. That's okay if that's right for you. But if you want more, if you want to build an empire, if you have more goals that you're not accomplishing, I need you to realize that sometimes following your intuition is uncomfortable because you're getting to do different things. When you're following your intuition, everything feels right. You're also still moving forward. So your fear is going to tell you to stop. I'll even give you an example. If you're walking down a road and you see someone in, like dark clothing and walking a little bit sketchy, maybe they look high or something, your fear is going to say, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm in danger. Your intuition is going to say, let's cross the street. Do you see how it is still a movement forward? It's not fearful. It's just saying, oh, let's cross. It's taking you to the next best step still. You're not staying back. Sometimes your intuition might feel like, there's a little bit of resistance here. I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm going to wait for a little bit of clarity, but you can still do other things. And this entire topic, I understand, gets a little bit difficult, but I'm talking about it because it's important to recognize. This is why you need the right support, whether it be coaches, therapists, counselors, really good friends that can tell you you're stuck in fear right now. Because a lot of times you won't notice when you're in fear because you might think it's intuition. And so there is a fine line, but the more in tune with yourself you get, the more in tune you get connected to your own consciousness, the more in tune you get to feeling good, being in alignment, finding your highest self, the easier that's going to be. And this is a lifelong journey of raising your consciousness, being connected to yourself. You're not just there yet. It's not just, oh, yep, I'm in alignment, I'm connected. It's an ongoing journey that you need continued support, whatever form that looks like for you. So let me know if that makes sense and if you have any more questions about that, because I know it might get a little hairy. Okay. Within that, I also want you to ask yourself, here's where we're going to bring in some more of the mindset piece. Another reflection question. What does it look like to live in surrender and allowing in my schedule? And this might be different for everyone because, for example, you might have scheduled an allotted time to, let's say, write a paper or write a blog or write an offer, and just nothing is coming to you. That's okay. Don't be so specific. Maybe you can change around a time block. Maybe you can wait for the inspiration. Maybe the next day when you're not even thinking about it, right? It's like when you lose something and you're like, I can't find it. And then when you're least expecting it, it comes to you. It happens to me all the time when I'm in the bath. Oh, that's what I should do, right? So it's giving yourself some space within your calendar. You're going to need space. What does that look like? What does surrender look like? What does allowing look like while still moving forward? And that's why these 3 big blocks, these 3 rocks, these time blocks help you while still staying in alignment. Your main goal is alignment and feeling good. When you feel good and you're in alignment, you're connected to your intuition, you're going to do the next best step. You're going to be following inspired action as opposed to forced action. So I'm going to give you a couple more tips before we finish up, and then I'm going to open up for Q&A. So I'm going to give you 4 steps if when you're in a time block, you find that you have a lot of resistance and you're procrastinating, you're having a lot of fear, analysis paralysis. So I need you to follow these 4 steps. Number 1, I need you to be aware that it's happening. Okay. Procrastinating, or I'm scared, or what's going on here. You're aware. Number 2, I need you to listen to what's going on up here. What did I just tell myself? I can't do this. I'm never going to be successful. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Number 3 is I need you to validate the feeling. And everybody misses this step, but it's super important. Just like a child. If a child is crying and a parent says, oh, stop crying, get over it, versus, oh my goodness, you're crying. That really sucks. I totally get why you're upset right now. Can I help you? Completely different reaction. The first reaction when we're saying, oh, stop crying, and we're doing that to ourselves all the time, like, oh, you should know better than that. Come on, we've been going through this over and over again, right? You might be laughing hearing this because we do it all the time. You're at war with yourself. You got to stop the war. Stop the war so you can change. So in order to stop the war, you have to say, I get it. I get why you're scared. I get why you're not sure. This is new. We're learning new things. We're showing up in a different way. And then this brings you to step 4. You get to start to reparent yourself, soothe yourself, and choose a different way. A tip to choose a different way is to go general. So I'm going to give you an example. You might say to yourself, I get it. I get why you're scared. You've never done this before. You know, you're starting a new business, or you're growing really quickly, or you just got a new job. I get why you're scared. But we're going to take it one step at a time. And we're going to take it one time block at a time. And we're going to do our best. So instead of thinking forward, we're only going to focus on the time block at hand. We're not going to be thinking of all the rest of the time blocks we have. Let's be really present. Let's take this moment. Let's take it one step at a time. I'm with you. And if we have questions, we have the right people to support us. Let's take it one step at a time. So what are we going to do right now? Okay, we're going to just start writing. We're going to just start and start to soothe yourself and choose the next best thought. Start to really be your own best friend. If I were to take a transcript of what is going on in your brain, would you be proud of that transcript? Because we need to start making you proud of that transcript, because the longest relationship you're ever going to have is the one between you and you. So the better you start treating yourself, the more productive you're going to be, and the better your business and your career is going to be. Okay? So those are your 4 steps. Within that step, I mentioned presence and focusing on the time block. This is really important because I need you to pay attention to, and this might have also come up in some of your questions when I was asking you about your goals and why you want to be productive and what productivity means. Are you the type of person that's always looking forward? I need to do this. I need to do that. I'll be successful when, I'll be happy when. We need to stop living in the future. And you might see this in your time blocks and starting to be a lot more present. And that's why we do the time block. So in the time block, you focus on the time block. So let me give you an example. When we're in the shower, we're going to be thinking about, oh my gosh, I have that interview today. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Or, oh my goodness, what's next? Or I'm eating breakfast. Okay, after breakfast, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. We need to stop that. And we need to just say, I'm going to take a shower and then I'll decide. I'm going to finish this time block and then I'm going to decide. So really start pushing yourself to be more present because you've already done the work. You've already done your time blocks. You've already looked at what's important and urgent. You've already looked at what your big rocks are. You don't need to start thinking about what you're going to do in the future. Pull it back because when you're focused on the future, it builds anxiety. And then you're always looking for the future. We need to feel good. We need to find presence now so that you can be more present, you can surrender, you can connect to yourself, you can find alignment, and you can be led to inspired action. If you're always living in the future, it's always forced. So do you see how everything's kind of connecting now? But it takes practice, consistency, and you have to be willing to change, dig deep, and really pay attention to what's going on up here. Okay, I'm going to give you one more thought. I need you to think about what would it look like to slow down. And this might also be tied to when you saw that vision for yourself of what actually being productive meant to you. It's okay to go slower. Inspiration and alignment is often found when you move slower. Full disclosure, I move very slow. People think they're like, you always are doing so much. I'm really not. Really not. I am super chill. I personally don't have this like wild social life. I just move slow. I see one person a week, maybe. I deal with clients one-on-one, so I get human interaction. I spend a lot of time by myself, nurturing myself, moving slower, eating slower, moving slower. And that's when I can choose the right next best decision. So it appears as though I'm moving real fast to other people. But I just keep following inspired action. Next best step, next best step. Okay? And yeah. And I think the next point I actually already said. So if you don't feel like doing it, what do you do? And from this thing, I hope you know the answer. If you don't feel like doing it, what do? You find your alignment. You listen to yourself. What's going on upstairs? Am I in fear? Can I push this to tomorrow? Let me get into alignment. Let me feel good and then. So I hope I've been able to mix your feeling good with productivity. And I know that's not what you normally get in a productivity workshop, but I think this is key and I think it's so important. We need to stop living in the hustle and the grind and the masculine energy of go, go, go. It feels, for me, it did not feel good. I was constantly anxious. I was constantly looking for more. I was constantly confused. When I started to slow down, find my alignment, get focused on less. That's why we're only doing our 3 big rocks. Sometimes I don't even have 3 big rocks. I have 1. Even better. Focus on what you need to focus on right now. And then you move forward. So I have a comment. slowing down, so hard to do in a world that glorifies the hustle 100% and moving fast. Another thing that is a culprit to make it harder is when we start comparing. We start comparing ourselves to what other people are doing on social media. I actually just disabled my Facebook news feed, which is the best thing ever. It's really starting to honor your brain and what goes into it. Really limiting all that trash so you can connect. Everything I teach about is about connecting to here. Because like I said, the strategy is simple. You need to know what's right for you so that you're not shiny object syndrome, comparing. That really impacts your self-confidence and your ability to do the right thing. You have so many unique gifts that the world needs to see. You following someone else is only putting a ceiling on your success. So what you might be here to do and what you might be here to accomplish is something, it could be something you've never seen before. You're only going to find it by tuning in. So she also says, I love the idea of turning your intuition and really get focused on less. It's more impactful things, 100%. Another element here that we didn't talk too much about is outsourcing. When you look at your data, when you look at your to-do lists, when you look at the things of, what are my big rocks? Ask yourself as well, what do I need to start doing? What do I need to stop doing? And what can I get somebody else to help me with? Because the helping, it might be their bread and butter, right? I have people that help me with my copy and my emails. And it's not that I can't do it. I used to do it because I wanted to learn so that I could know what people were doing. But I need you to know what your zone of genius is so that you can outsource other things. It's important to learn and understand, yes. I believe that every CEO should do every role because they know how it flows. But at a certain point, it's really productive to outsource. So knowing how you're spending your time and energy is really important. Any other comments before we finish up today? Any other questions? I'll just give you a moment because I know sometimes when people are typing, it takes them a little bit. But I just want to thank you so much for being here and for joining us on this productivity. Feel free to DM me on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. If you need more guidance, comment on this video below if you're seeing it within our membership. And let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here to support you. And if there's any additional topics that you want me to train on, let me know. And I always like getting that stuff out there for you. So I'll always love your guidance and tips. Thank you. I really hope this helps. Keep me posted. Honestly, let me know how some of these reflection questions went. And you can tell me if anything has come up for you that you've noticed, because I really like to know what resonates with you most. So I am going to stop this recording and thank you ladies so much for being here.